From the candidates in the 5th Congressional District this morning, now we're turning our attention to the 4th District. Jayme Stevenson is running against incumbent Representative Jayme, and she joins me this morning in Studio A. Thank you for being with us. You have a long career in public service, mostly as the first selectman in Darien. Tell me what led from that to this.
Yes, thank you so much for having me today, Eric. I appreciate it. So yes, I served as Darien's first selectman from 2011 to 2021. I retired myself last year because I believe strongly in term limits. Term limits allow for fresh ideas, new faces, new energy to come into government. And truthfully, I didn't intend on running for Congress, but the day I decided to do so was August 26th, 2021. When our president decided to withdraw from Afghanistan. It was a disastrous withdrawal. That's not the America that I know and love, and I decided that it was time to step up, to use the experience that I have as both a local, regional, and statewide leader to bring some common sense, pragmatism, and real help for the 4th Congressional District to Congress.
To go from being a chief executive in a municipality to being one of 435, should you be elected to Congress, how does that affect your ability to affect change?
I actually think it is really important experience for our congressional leaders to understand how government policies affect people, families, and small businesses every day. So that's what makes me very unique in this race and unique against the incumbent in all of the people that he's run against in the past. I have that boots on the ground experience. I come from a town where we have a representative town meeting, a very large legislative body. So nothing gets done by executive order. You have to build trusting relationships if you want to get anything done, and that will serve me well when I'm the 4th Congressional District's next Congresswoman.
I saw you described yourself at one point as fiscally conservative but socially libertarian.
Yes.
So what does that mean? If people say, well, who is this Jayme Stevenson? What does this mean if I vote for fiscally conservative, socially libertarian? What does that mean in your views?
So socially moderate is really how I might describe myself. I believe strongly in fiscal discipline, running government the way we run our homes and our households, prioritizing our spending. We're seeing what's happening right now with unchecked government spending and 40-year high inflation. My opponent likes to say that it's Putin's fault that we have inflation right now, but I can tell you, anybody that understands the economy knows that it is out of control spending that's thrown us into this inflationary condition, exacerbated by things like the war in Ukraine and supply chain blockages. And in terms of me being a social moderate, I believe that everyone has a right to live their life the way they want to love the people that they want to. I strongly support a woman's right to make her own medical decisions with the support of her family and a doctor. So I believe that I represent the vast majority of people in the 4th Congressional District with that mindset.
And there's been so much talk about that abortion issue, which you alluded to there. Lindsey Graham has talked about this 15-week national abortion ban. Would you not support that?
It's too soon to talk about that, but you certainly want a woman at the table to be having those conversations. Whether you believe that Roe v. Wade was settled correctly in 1973 or not, a generation of women lived with a right that now they no longer have. And we have a system now of medical inequality across our country. I really look forward to being at the table to have that conversation at the federal level, because I don't believe that women should be disadvantaged across our country.
One thing your opponent has talked a lot about, the incumbent, is gun control and making changes to gun rules that he says would make us safer. What do you think about his position on guns, and what's yours?
Sure. I think Connecticut's done a very good job of putting in place common sense gun regulations. I support that. I got my pistol permit, and I had to do a background check in order to get that. I had to take a class and get certified, fingerprinted, and all of that. So I believe in that process. I want to make sure that the people that are buying weapons are the kind of people that will handle their weapons safely. So I do believe strongly in common sense gun legislation.
We know that anytime you're going up against any incumbent in any political race, it can be an uphill battle just because that person already has a track record in name recognition. Can you point to something to voters that you think Jayme has gotten wrong?
It's been 14 years, and there's no evidence of the work and support for the 4th Congressional District with his time in Washington. If you go back and you look at how he campaigned in 2008, he almost sounded like a Republican. He sounded very moderate. He's lost the ability to work with people across the aisle, and I know that I hear it across the district everywhere I go. People are longing for people leaders and legislators who will go to Washington and just get things done for the people.
What are you hearing as you talk to voters as you move through the district? Is there one overwhelming theme, something that's most important to them?
Well, there's several things. There's so many problems in America today. I think first and foremost, what I hear regularly is that Jim is an absentee congressman. He's more worried about following his leadership in Washington rather than working on the real issues here in the 4th Congressional District. Depending on where you are, certainly inflation is killing our families and our small businesses. But safety and security is a huge problem. On Thursday, we had the very sad death of 2 police officers and wounding of another. So safety and security on the streets of the 4th Congressional District is really top of mind for me right now. Our open border, the fentanyl crisis, killing hundreds of thousands of people every year. Where has our congressman been? It's time for change, and it's time to bring someone like me who has the experience working directly with people to Washington to solve those very serious problems.
We have about 30 seconds left. Make your final pitch to voters.
Please come out and vote on November 8th. If you elect the same people, you're going to get the same result. I bring a fresh approach. I believe in term limits. I've had my 3 careers. I've worked on Wall Street. I've raised my 5 children, and I served my community for 12 years. It's time we bring someone like me to Washington to bring common sense and pragmatism, and I really look forward to being your hands-on Congresswoman in the 4th Congressional District.
All right, Jayme Stevenson, the Republican candidate in the 4th Congressional District. Thank you for being with us here on CT22.
Thank you, Eric.